is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news. A former Clearwater County Sheriff's deputy has been charged with sex crimes against a teenager at a summer camp. 33-year-old Neil Dolan will spend the next 2 years in prison. He was originally charged with 3 felony counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of attempted 3rd-degree criminal sexual conduct. However, court records show all but the attempted sexual conduct was dismissed. Dolan faced similar charges back in 2019 after the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension received a complaint from the Bagley police chief. The chief said Dolan acted inappropriately toward a child. The city of Grand Forks has rescinded its mask mandate. Dr. Joel Walls says the city's decision comes after 14 days of low COVID-19 numbers across the state. Fargo Mayor Dr. Tim Mahoney has indicated that he may allow the city's mask mandate to expire on March 22nd. West Fargo will discuss their mask strategy at their next city commission meeting on Monday. Here's a look at today's top 4 at 4. Essential workers and people with high-risk conditions can now get their COVID vaccine in several locations in North Dakota. Grand Forks Public Health is now open to people in Phase 1C. Cass County is also asking people in this phase to reach out with their contact information. Some local pharmacies are also giving the vaccine to people in Phase 1C. Appointments on the Thrifty White website went quickly this morning. If you're not sure if you fall into this tier, you can find a full breakdown right on our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story. And tonight on Valley News Live at 6, we'll have more on how you might be able to get your shot faster by hitting up one of these pharmacies. Jury selection is delayed in the trial of a former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. Images of the officer with his knee on Floyd's neck last year touched off a racial justice reckoning in the United States. Crowds gathered outside the Hennepin County Government Center this morning where jury selection was set to get underway. The judge put off questioning jurors until Tuesday, pending a ruling to reinstate a 3rd-degree murder charge. Potential jurors already filled out a 16-page questionnaire answering things like what podcasts they listen to and whether they've ever carried a sign in a demonstration. Those selected for the panel will not be identified by name and will be sequestered during deliberations. North Dakota has named its 5th state health officer since the start of the pandemic. Governor Burgum named Dr. Nazir Webby to the post, and he's expected to take the position on May 1st. That position has been a revolving door since the last health officer resigned a couple months after COVID-19 was detected in the state. She was replaced by Dr. Andrew Stahl, who stepped down in late August. Dr. Paul Mariani quit after 12 days on the job. It's International Women's Day, and countries around the world are celebrating in a variety of ways. Many women's groups are using the day to highlight their continued fight for equality and inclusion, as was the case in Spain today as hundreds of feminist protesters defied a government ban on marches to mark the international occasion. French associations and unions marched in Paris today, calling for a day of feminist strikes, and in India, bike rallies were held to celebrate the contribution of women. We're experiencing some record-breaking heat across the valley this afternoon, but don't put away your winter coat and boot just yet. Let's get a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Stacey, indeed, we're starting this work week off in style, crushing records across the valley. Take a look at this. First and foremost, that record in Grand Forks was today in the 40s. 48 degrees set back in 2015. 54 Fargo's record today, and we can draw lines through those because those were both set back. Mid and upper 50s for your afternoon today, with even warmer weather expected tomorrow. Will stand a good chance at breaking even more records. Here's a look at high temperatures so far today across the region. Mid 50s in Lakes Country. Langdon 55, 61 in Jamestown and Gwinner. Sisseton in the upper 50s. We're enjoying these mild temperatures as we head into our evening, and your planner shows in Fargo temperatures will slide slowly down into the 40s. We will have some clouds and it does look breezy at about 25 miles per hour from the southeast. Those winds will be fairly persistent even into the overnight. Well, they do settle down just a pinch. Low 40s by bedtime tonight. A much more active weather pattern is around the corner. We have a first alert weather day for Wednesday, and there's one more we've added to the mix as well, as it looks like we're going to see some more active wintry precipitation in our forecast. I'll have details on all that in a moment.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. If you've been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, you may want to listen up. The CDC just released guidelines on what you can do and what you should still avoid. The agency says fully vaccinated people can visit with other fully vaccinated people inside without wearing masks or physical distancing. They also say you can visit with unvaccinated people from a single household who are at low risk for severe disease, also without wearing a mask or distancing. They also do not need to quarantine after a known exposure, as long as they don't have symptoms.
Unvaccinated people. When fully vaccinated people visit with unvaccinated people, we have to consider the underlying risks of the unvaccinated people and any unvaccinated members of their household. We take this approach because all of our guidance is rooted in making sure we are keeping people safe.
However, the CDC says it's still important to wear a well-fitted mask and physical distance in public and avoid large in-person gatherings. To stay on top of the latest COVID vaccine-related information, use our VNL vaccine tracker. Visit our website or open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. The Senate passed President Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan over the weekend. Now the bill heads back to the House. Skylar Henry has details from Capitol Hill.
The House has begun debate on the Senate's amended coronavirus economic relief package, with a vote expected tomorrow on the nearly $2 trillion bill.
I have every confidence that the House will pass the bill and that the President will sign the bill, and I'm hopeful we can have a nice signing ceremony sometime this week.
The bill includes $1,400 stimulus checks for many Americans. Other elements include a child tax credit of up to $3,600 per child, as well as a $34 billion expansion of Obamacare subsidies, making more people eligible to buy health coverage and lowering premiums for others.
These people in the Congress today, the House and the Senate on the Democratic side, are out of control liberals.
Not a single Republican in either chamber has voted to support the bill. Some House Democrats don't like that the Senate removed a federal minimum wage hike from the bill. However, they also say the legislation as is desperately needed. The White House is staying on the offensive to sell the bill, issuing a memo warning staffers there's, quote, absolutely no room for complacency.
We're going to succeed moving forward. Look, the American people strongly support what we're doing. That's the key here.
President Biden is visiting a VA medical center this afternoon, where veterans are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. There's an additional $13.5 billion for VA healthcare services included in the bill. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In addition to funding for VA medical centers, the American Rescue Plan provides up to $750 million for state veterans' home facilities. Jack Dorsey is selling his very first tweet as digital art. The Twitter CEO shared a link to the tweet on a platform called Valuables, where his March 21st, 2006 tweet is up for bidding. So far, the highest bid is at $2.5 million. Crypto collectibles have exploded in popularity lately, with anyone from artists to rock bands minting their content. We'll have much more on this in about 10 minutes. Former President Trump's final challenge to the 2020 election has been rejected. The Supreme Court disposed of the former president's appeal at a lower court ruling that upheld Wisconsin's handling of mail-in ballots. Today's action was no surprise. Mr. Trump and his allies were unsuccessful in each attempt before the Supreme Court in their effort to overturn the presidential election results in states won by Joe Biden. The Sportsman Show at the Fargo Dome drew a large crowd this past weekend, but not as much as they're used to. 14,000 people showed up from Thursday to Sunday. That's 3,000 less than they had last year. But organizer Brian Shin says 6 months ago, they didn't even know if they'd have an event, so he's happy with the turnout. The Bison are back at the Fargo Dome this weekend, taking on Illinois State on Saturday. The pregame show starts at 1:30. Kickoff is set for 2:30, and you can catch all the action on KVLY. Up next, breaking down last night's Oprah interview with Prince Harry and Meghan. The two detail what went on and why they left.
Lovely temperatures this Monday afternoon as we crush records by almost 10 degrees so far up in Grand Forks. We'll have details on more heat in the forecast, and then things get a little wild. A more active storm track, and I'll have the latest in your forecast next.